How's it going, everyone? Vince here. Welcome to episode 15 From a Dad's Perspective. I wanted to catch you up on just how this week went and, just some other things going on. I figured, we'd had the snow apocalypse as I was hinting at in the previous episode. And I did do a video of us playing in a little bit in the snow and walking around. But it was overall really good. We didn't lose power, which the last two times we ended up doing. So the house was nicely warm with our window unit that's a heater because we live in an older home. Um, so it's not as insulated, so it gets colder than it needs to be sometimes, and it can be colder than it is outside in the house, depending. But no, it was really cool, kind of like prepping for everything. Um, Getting to wake up Tuesday morning. So like, yeah, we started getting everything prepped on like Saturday night, Sunday, making sure we were filling up because we were going to shut off our water. With it getting as cold as it's getting, and the fact that our house is as insulated as it needs to be, especially with the piping running through the ceiling and everything, we didn't want to have another pipe burst like when it happened back in like 2021. So yeah, that was filling up buckets, fill it up. I can't even talk this morning. I am running on like 6 hours of sleep. I probably should have got a little more sleep, but I wanted to get this done and out for you guys. But no, we filled up buckets and of water, and we kind of got everything prepped as far as like making sure that the pipes were wrapped and that unnecessary doors were closed, so that way we weren't letting out the heat. But overall, I mean, it wasn't too bad. I ended up working from home for like Monday through Wednesday. Didn't go back until Thursday. So it was kind of nice. I woke up at 6 in the morning every day, and I instantly got on to work and made some food and started addressing tickets and other stuff like that. But yeah, it was really nice. But I mean, I got to the point where I couldn't do certain things at home, so I was like, I really wanted to get back in the office. But Tuesday was really cool. I got up at 6, and you could just see through like my kitchen window, just the snow, just coming down. And then I woke up my wife, and we got dressed. We walked outside, and that's when I made that video about like us, checking it out. We don't get snow here, not as much as we got this past time. Because every other time, usually when it gets cold, it becomes ice. Basically, we get rain and it freezes, and then I remember times back in the day, whenever we'd have these freezes. Me and my dad would be out there on our porch steps because we lived in an apartment at the time, and we would be taking warm salt water and just basically kind of melting the snow and then putting salt down so it would prevent ice build up, and then so we wouldn't slip down the stairs because we had that happen a few times. But I remember there was one time where it had got really cold, and we had some rain and stuff, and it was just, I remember getting in my dad's car, and we rolled down the windows, and there was still a window there, and it was just this big block of ice, and my uncle was like, bashed it with his elbow, and it just shattered and everything, and it was just funny as a kid. You're like, this is so cool, and it leaves that impact with you. But it was nice. We probably got about maybe 4 to 5 inches of snow in certain parts, and then even like, so what was it? It snowed Monday into Tuesday, and then it was cold most of the day. But then the sun came out, started melting stuff, but we had a little bit of snow. I still had snow in my car on Thursday, just because the way the temperatures were fluctuating, because it wasn't enough to melt the snow, and any of the snow ended up becoming ice. But it was fun walking around, just checking it out, the excitement of my wife. And then, when my son woke up, her and him went out and had fun in it. and I unfortunately had to work. I figured that once I got off at 4, I'd go out there, but um, I didn't go back out there until like well after that. It was I think dark by the time I got a chance to take a break from it. But yeah, it was really cool. It was nice just not losing power. This is the worst thing. Like when you're in a situation where it's either hot or cold, extreme temperatures, and you have like no power, it sucks. And like the last couple of times, like I talked about in my previous episode, we had, lost power, and we were out power for like 7 days. So it was impossible to be in the house with no electricity. That's why we either stayed at my aunt's or my wife's aunt's. I'm glad it's over. Temperatures have been fluctuating in between like the 50s, 60s, and it's a little cooler at night, but nowhere near what it was. So right now it's actually raining, and I from what I remember looking at the forecast and stuff and talking to my wife about it, it looks like it's going to rain this whole week. Yeah, which is fine. I'm sure part of it's because of the fluctuating temperatures and everything, and then it was really cool getting to see some of the videos and pictures and things from either my friends around town or even like Showed and P-Mark with how much snow they were getting. And it's crazy. Like, I think Louisiana's never gotten snow, so this is like the first time they've ever experienced it or something like that. But yeah, it's just it's kind of cool. It's kind of weird, but I mean, times are changing, things are changing. We'll just roll with it. But no, I got quite a bit of things done. I was able actually to kind of like get a video out a day. I was kind of lax between Thursday, Friday, and Saturday because I had the stream. I did do a reaction on Ninja Gaiden 2 and 4 reveal. Man, I'm super excited for that. I cannot wait. And I've been playing a little bit of 2 just to familiarize myself with it because I do plan to stream it. I don't know if I'll stream it this Thursday. I really, really want to play BioShock, but man, like I want that ninja gory blood action, and I got to share that love. So we'll see what I play. But yeah, I've been playing a bunch of games. I been making videos. I actually got a couple of requests for doing some videos. So plan on seeing a video sometime this week where I'm showcasing my animated series Spider-Man figures, the ones that are there. Now keep in mind, the ones on the back here, they're not the originals. These are the re-release retro card ones that have the new Marvel Legends articulation, but they're designed to look like those original figures. But yeah, I've been looking and thinking about different ideas. I'm kind of trying to branch out outside of just the podcast and streaming. I want to do a lot more like reviews, unboxings, talk about my collection, like talk about gaming. I'm a nerd. So what I am. I've been a nerd forever, and because of I was born into it, and this is stuff I love, and I'll never change it. I enjoy this stuff. Every piece in my collection has some kind of memory attached to it, even if it's something new. It's still a new representation of an older thing that brings me back to my past. And yeah, I want to talk about this stuff. I want to share the love, and it will help me get out of my my funk of depression. It'll help me get out of my shyness, because it may be hard to believe that I am shy. I'm a shy guy. I'm not an introvert, but I do worry about like what people think of me sometimes, and I'm working to like. And I was like, when I was younger, I was like that. Man, like I don't know how many times, like anytime I'd be in a play or whenever I was in choir or doing something, in front of a bunch of people, I would get freaking nervous and stage fright. And like I remember there was a time where I was doing something with one of my teachers, and it was like a student and a teacher doing some kind of relay race or whatever, and I was so nervous. My leg was shaking. It was like all eyes are on me. This is nuts. um, and sometimes you just got to push yourself. You got to get yourself out there. You can't let fear cripple you, but you embrace the fear to get better, to become stronger. And eventually you learn to overcome that fear. And that's something that I'm working with my son to get him to overcome, especially with, him having, he's high functioning autistic. When you see him, you wouldn't think it. He's just a normal kid. But he has those moments where he shuts down. He'll have these moments where he'll when emotions happen, it's a little bit extreme, but we're working with him on it. He's getting better. And I think sometimes I think it's also a lack of having outside influences that help him to, see how other people react. That experience that we got as kids. With him growing up in this day and age, there's not a whole lot of kids. I've talked about this on the podcast. I actually think I talked about it last night a little bit when us just with the last episode we did of the podcast. He doesn't have a whole lot of friends. Like, he has friends at school, but they're not close, and there's not a lot of kids his age on our street. And so most of the time he's usually playing online with his cousins. And then he has one friend that is the nephew of my wife's best friend. And, they grew up together. And I love having them here. It's really great whenever it has someone here. But it's hard when you don't have that group of friends that would come over to your house, or you would go over to their house. And, man, I remember, I had tons of friends coming over, or they would stay the night. We just game and whatever. And, my dad would take us to go eat somewhere in the morning or in the afternoon, or we'd go to a movie. And that's what it was like growing in my house. My house was the home for people to come over and hang out and, have a safe refuge. And I would hope to be able to do that for my son's friends. But it sucks because of how far school is away, and, as we were talking too, is you think about there's too many unpredictable things that could happen with certain parents, because you don't know what they're into, what their parenting skills are or what they're like. Plus you don't know what the kids are going to be like. But sometimes it's a risk you take, and I hope that as he gets older, because he's going to be going into middle school next year, and we're trying to figure out what school he's going to go to, and hopefully it'll be in a spot that there's people right around our neighborhood that he can hang out with and stuff, or they can hang out here. But I mean, and also on top of that, we will be moving at some point. We got to get a new home somewhere that's going to be bigger, that we can grow into, because we've completely outgrown this place. Part of the things too is it just sucks. I can't display everything. I can't I'm my office, the desk is now in my dining room. My table's right over here. And or here, let me do this so you can see it on in this direction, which then after that is the living room. So it does make it difficult sometimes, because when I want to come in and I want to have that creative inspiration, there's a lot of distractions. So being able to have space for myself for these things would be good. And then, have a place where everything can be set up. Right now, my collection takes up my whole entire house. And I have a wonderful wife who allows me to do that. But I'd love to be able to have it presentable in a way that it's not so off-putting. It's not that it's off-putting, but it's you think of, you walk into somebody's house and you're not used to it, and you're like, whoa, this is awesome and scary at the same time. I don't know. I don't know but I know that whenever we've had people come over, some of my wife's teacher friends and stuff like that. They're like, or we have people from, AT&T come out to fix our line or something that like in the house, and they're like, wow, this is amazing. It's like their childhood wonder. And that's what it was like growing up in my house too, is like anybody would come over because my dad would have his stuff displayed immaculate, but it was still like still a mess. But we had like Star Trek ships, we had like a whole like Oriental ninja stuff, like a katana and some sais, nunchucks and stuff. And I was at the apartment. We'd have like, there was a hallway down to like the bedrooms and every stuff, and like my dad had his comic books lined on the walls, but then he had shelving on the side where like his action figures were. And it's just like, it's what I grew up with, and it's like I'm doing the same thing. But I'm trying, and then that goes back. I know I'm rambling and going into a bunch of stuff, but that's one of the things I want to teach my son is that, we're working on getting his room reorganized, and we're fixing some things in there. And I'm trying to put some shelving up throughout the house so things can be displayed and oriented right. So we can utilize more of this stuff instead of having to have it in bins and storage. Because it sucks, why own something if you can't utilize it? It's great to have a collection, but if you don't ever really use it, is it worth having? Is it a waste of money? Could you have put that money in something else, like maybe taking your family out, or saving it for whatever, a new car, a vacation for your family? So there's a lot of these things as a dad, I wonder, and I look at trying to figure out. I mean, part of the whole process of being a dad is a learning thing. You're not expected to know everything. You can prepare, but like a lot of times the things you go through are alien to us. Even if you like had experience raising your siblings or your cousins or whatever, you still don't understand what it's like being a parent sometimes until you're a parent. What it's like going without sleep because you got to make sure that you get up for your child and make sure they're fed, and when in the early stages of their birth, and then as they get older, you have to make sure that certain things are prepared. It's far beyond like taking care of a pet, and especially depending on the pet. A cat, all you got to really do is you feed them, you make sure they have water, you give them attention, you clean their litter box, and that's about it. Children, total different thing. Total different. But it's a fun experience, and I wouldn't ever take it back. I love my son. I would love to have another kid. Just things didn't work out. I mean, and that's a process too. But there's always adopting, we're always a home that was open to people if in need. I don't know how many people that like our friends or my dad's friends that would stay with us for a period of time because they were having a hard time. Or my friends or my sister's friends that would just come over because they needed advice, and my dad would be there willing to give it to them and stuff, and making our home a safe haven or a rest stop for the journey in their life. And seeing that, made me, I guess, want to do the same. I've had one of my wife's cousins stayed with us for a period of time. Josh stayed with us for a period of time. My door's always open to my friends, always. And I'll help out what I can. And it's just something I learned from him. And I could be selfish, but like I'll sell stuff to help out a friend or a family member. I'll sacrifice my time, maybe some of my money or whatever, if I have it, to help someone out. even if it's just like being an ear, or uh, just being there as a friend, or someone just to be a pillar, be a crutch. But I don't like the term crutch, but like something to help them, like oh man, a leaping off point to for a better ground. I don't know, can't think of the word at the moment, but or the analogy. But it's so cool getting to go through this life and experience and meet people, and listen to their walks of life and what they've been through, and hopefully just be a good person for be something like that can help them through. Part of that's part of the things that I've been trying to do with everything I do on YouTube anyways, is maybe impart my experience and wisdom onto you guys, or whoever that listens to this stuff, and make your day better, hopefully. Like last night, it was so fun with my dad Ryan and my buddy Josh, and as we just kind of like, we talked about toys, and we talked about goofy shit, we picked on each other, we talked about movies, we talked about where we think the future is going to go, the problems with films and changes with animation and stuff. It was great. I realized that after Friday, when me and Ryan did the collector showcase, we talked about the Series 3 Transformers. We got to the point where we were just like having a good time with the chat, just having a discussion, ripping off of each other, making jokes, and just not having any structure, just going live as a hangout. And I want to do more of that at some point. I'm really, really starting to enjoy the engagement, the process, the fun of it. And it's not about like, look, I have a day job. I enjoy helping people. My job, I do IT work, and I love troubleshooting and solving problems. Probably the reason why I love RPGs and playing games that have puzzles and stuff like that. And but I love being that person to help somebody, and it's I'm doing this for fun, and I would love for it to turn into something more, but I think I'm getting a little bit more of what I was looking for with the engagement and stuff, because I know that, like, I've talked about this, you're depressed and you want to do these things, but it's like sometimes you're looking for some kind of outside source to not really validate your existence, but like camaraderie, or sometimes it's hard when like you express your feelings or things like that, and then you don't have like-minded individuals that resonates with them as well, and they're willing to conversate with you about it. But it's a process, and as we learn, because some of this stuff is like, it's alien. I mean, YouTube's been around for a while, and it's still new, like as far as experiencing it. If you do it, it's fun, and I've met a lot of great friends and stuff, and I've talked about this before, and I feel like I'm reiterating this, but sometimes just putting yourself out of the comfort zone is a good thing. It strengthens you. It helps prepare you. Sometimes like you get to the point, it's like, it doesn't matter what like people think or whatever, as far as like if they're being critical of you, like just be yourself, express yourself. And that's what I'm teaching my son. Look, do something because you want to do it. Do something because it may be the right thing to do, but you want to do this. If you want to help somebody, do it because you want to, not because you feel obligated to. But don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to express your love and shout what you love into the universe and things like that. Sorry, Grapple. But like, just be yourself. don't be afraid. Like, understand the situation, read your audience, read the room, so that way, you don't offend anybody. But like, that shouldn't stop you from being who you are, right? Um, it's one of the things that we learn as an adult, that you can be one way, but you can still have enough control. It's like, could you imagine like waking up one day? And my dad's talked about this before, and I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast. Actually, we did. I think we did talk about it on a podcast. I think we did that on the one that's like about superpowers and what we would do. Like, could you imagine waking up with like Superman strength? Like the level of control that he has to do to like not grab a cup and just instantly crush it, or like, because you can't control your own strength. That's scary. You have to learn to be in control of what your abilities, what you can do. It's all part of that learning process. You don't even know what kind of skills you have until you start kind of be willing to try it, not being afraid of what others think. Sometimes it's like, look, I want to express myself and I want to figure out what I can do, test my limits, and I don't care who the doubters are. I probably would have never done YouTube had I not, felt it was like, for one, an archive for myself, for my son, but two, it was like, I'm tired of being afraid, tired of like worrying what others think, or if I'm gonna stumble my words, I'm gonna have trouble presenting or articulating my words sometimes live, or reading live. it's one thing reading to yourself, but it's like reading in front of a bunch of people. I've always had that problem. It's like, I'm worried of what they're gonna say, but it's like, you got to break yourself of that, and I don't know, maybe that's part of the lesson, is like, sometimes you just gotta get out there, do it, and damn it, don't worry about anything. Just in this world of like, we're here maybe anywhere between, if we're lucky, 80 years, sometimes longer, sometimes a lot shorter. I had a friend, Michael, that I was really good friends with in high school, and I remember I didn't even know he had any kind of like artistic style, or like he could draw. And like, I remember, like, because I always drawing like Dragon Ball Z stuff. I was drawing anime, whatever. I loved drawing. And he was like, dude, man, check this out. And he was starting to show me his artwork and stuff. And I was like, dude, I know you could draw. He goes, yeah, I drew, but I didn't want to show it to people. He was a really kind of bashful about that. But like, such a cool dude. His sister was awesome. His mom was great. She was one of our reading teachers back in was it 6th, 7th grade? Real sweet lady. And but me and Michael had become really good friends in high school. And then I remember getting a call from my buddy Richard saying, hey, I want to let you know, because he was in football, and so both him and Richard were on I think varsity football and stuff. And so that's probably another thing, is being a jock. You don't want to be seen doing things that are not like this. What is the mold or the stereotype for a person that plays football or whatever? Or you're one of the rich kids or very popular people. But I just remember getting that call that Michael had passed away, and it was like, I think literally a year after we had graduated. I think I was sitting at home playing something. I got the call from Richard, and he's like, hey man, he told me that Michael passed away. He was hit by a drunk driver, I believe it was. And it just hit me, because that was my first friend, like, that I lost in high school, or like that I knew that I was good friends with and stuff. And I remember talking to his mom and stuff. And I didn't get to make the funeral but it just stuck with me, losing a friend like that. And then I've lost a few friends over the years, through different things, but it just sucks because someone with like great potential that life just took it out sooner than I felt what I may have felt too soon. What he could have brought to the world, and it's sad. It happens a lot to people. And that's why you should live your life to its fullest. Not be afraid of things. Strive to be better. Do things that you enjoy. Don't like completely crush those passions for maybe for creative endeavors, writing, playing music, drawing, sculpting, painting, whatever it is. Like, don't be afraid to like step out in the limelight or just do something. And a lot of times life will beat you down. Life will do this stuff to you and make it to where you want to give up on those things. And a lot of times we do. A lot of times we give up on the things that we enjoy. It's like, I gave up drawing. I talked about this in the last episode, and I regret it. Who knows? I have tons of stories I've written that I could literally just like draw something for, but I don't draw anymore. I try, and I'm rusty. I gotta retrain myself. It's not like I couldn't learn to draw again. And I gotta get rid of the trappings that prevent me from doing it. Like, oh man, this is garbage. Why am I trying? The things in your head that you tell yourself to stop you from doing something. It's a way to. It's that survival instinct. It's a way to prevent you from having an outcome you don't want. So it's like, look, if I deter you from doing these things, you won't do it. So that way you don't have to have that feeling. But I think the feeling of not doing is worse than the feeling of when you're doing it, you're not doing it well. And sometimes you just gotta put yourself out there. Fuck it. Like, why not? Why not just go and do it? Because you never know. You may do something that's gonna just take off, and then your life completely goes in a direction of that dream, of that passion you had. Too many of us just like settle for things that are going on, and instead of like going for it, trying to achieve. And whether it be because you've lost a friend or a family member, and maybe it's that time of the year and you're depressed because you miss them. It's like we forget that like that's not what they would want. And they would want us to live for them, do the things that they can't ever do again, live in their memory, but do it for them. Do it for yourself too, because you can't just do for others. Sometimes you have to do things for yourself. And I feel like I'm being preachy, but I don't know. It's weird. I've gotten much better doing these and stuff and talking in front of a camera. But I remember, man, I was like, when I first started doing this, it's so weird. Why am I doing this? And then why did I stumble on my words? But, if I never took the chance to do YouTube, I wouldn't have met all the friends I've made. And I wouldn't have gotten out of my shell. And doing this also helped with my depression. It helped me face some dark thoughts and fears that I had at the time because of, circumstances, the things that were completely out of my control. Yeah, I'm lucky that I'm here. I'm lucky I didn't die or get shot. There's many times I've had moments where I've run out in front of a car. There's stories that my uncles could tell you, my dad could tell you, of me just like not a care in the world. I would just freaking bolt out across this or do this, and inches from being hit by a car or whatever. And who knows? Maybe in the universe, in the grand scheme of things, I'm meant to do something. And if it's just like to help my son, to get him out of his shell, to see the world more, and to not be afraid, that's good, or help my friends or one of you guys or ladies through something, maybe seeing that like I'm just like you guys, and but I'm still struggling. I mean, I'm struggling, but I'm doing this, and I'm getting better, and I'm taking life a little more seriously, but also having fun with it and enjoying it. That it's okay. You can do it too. You can get up here in front of a camera, take the time to maybe have a one-on-one conversation with that friend you haven't talked to in a while, record it and upload it. Maybe a family member that you haven't talked to in a while. Maybe someone that, maybe is going through some bad health conditions. Maybe, I wish I would have not been afraid to do this stuff, and I could have had a conversation recorded with my grandfather or my grandmother. The only good things that I got out of it, I mean, that's not, I got tons of good things, but like, losing my grandparents really sucked. It really hit me pretty hard, especially with all the family drama and nonsense that me and my sister and my aunt had went through. But I wish I had time to like sit down and record conversation with my grandfather. I wish I could have recorded with my grandmother. But this is what I was gonna say, and I feel like I'm looping here, which I probably am. Was that I got to make my grandfather happy by telling him about the promotion I had gotten when I was still working at my last job, and how it was going to benefit us, and it did really benefit us. It changed my direction of life, and my grandmother got to hear me do YouTube and do a podcast and stuff, and she was always proud of me, and she said that it's great that you're doing something you enjoy. And my dad tells me that it's great that you're doing something that you have passion for, and that something you've wanted to do, but you were too afraid to do it. And it's these things that we forget, and we should remember the encouragement. Sometimes someone may give you some criticism, and sometimes it's not bad. Sometimes it's like a suggestion. Maybe you should try this. Maybe you should try that. Sometimes it's our egos that make it seem it's worse than that. Because I don't know how many times my dad would be like, well, all right, you draw really good characters. You draw this. Start drawing some background. Start doing this. And it's like, he's trying to point me in that direction. But at the time, I'm like, but Dad, why are you telling me this? Like, let me know this is good. Then I can work. Then I have the encouragement to do more. But that's a matter of like, life experiences, and how sometimes you need that uncomfortableness to push yourself in another direction. Because if you're just comfort in the situation you're in, you're never going to get out of it unless something pushes you that way. And a lot of times in life, it's going to be it's not going to be the way you want it. Not everyone is lucky to be under the wing of someone that's going to be a mentor or a guide, and doing it in a way that is easy. Sometimes the best things you achieve in life are going to be the hardest things you do. But once you're through it, it's great. But yeah, guys, I think I'm going to end this episode here. I know I bounced around it quite a bit, but I'm definitely getting a lot better. And doing this has been really fun to get back doing these. As far as from a dad's perspective, I'll keep doing it. I'm going to keep putting together just my thoughts of a weekly journal of what's going on and what I think about. Sometimes it may not be done. Maybe I'm going to be talking about the passions of loving like this awesome Transformer that came out, or the fact that Macross is finally on Netflix. Not Netflix, but Hulu and Disney Plus and whatever. But I would love to know what some of your dreams were when you were kids. What did you want to be when you were younger, when you grew up? And did you achieve your dreams? Are you still trying to achieve your dreams? Don't if you haven't, maybe tell me why. Why haven't you done it yet? And you don't have to be very personal about it, but you know, just enough to let me understand. Um, but I all I hope you all have a good week. It's safe. You play a lot of video games, watch some anime, talk to your favorite people, spend time with your kids this week. Do something awesome. But I will catch you sometime this week. I will definitely have a video out every day. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm striving for. And peace out, guys.